So you want to make a junk journal. You're not going to need much, guys. We're going to just do a very simple, easy, using up scraps of paper junk journal, a real one. So all you need is a book. This just happens to be a Reader's Digest one. I like them to have 1 to 1.5 inch spines when I just do these sort of things. So the first thing you're going to need is, well, I've already decided mine's going to be called Home. So, and you want to grab all these sorts of scraps, music paper, book pages, you know, all the usual bits and pieces. Coffee dyed papers, book pages, more book pages, anything you've got. Some different thicknesses, different sizes, whatever you can find. Okay, coffee dye if that's your style, or not. Leave it bright white. Completely up to you. What you want to do is fold all your pages, and I've done that, folded them all. This was a very thin dictionary sheet. It's got, and all I've done is glued 2 together. Now I do think it's probably still a bit tall. Oh no, it's going to fit. So you can do that. If you've got your pages too thin, just glue 2 together, makes them thick. Done. Okay, so my signatures are together, and I have made 5 signatures of 6 pages. So the next step is to make holes for the 5 signatures, and I'm going to do it on here first because I will be covering this. So having an odd number in your signatures is quite a good idea because you can then use a centre, and I've got this really cool ruler that has a centre line, which I find really useful for doing this. I think I got it off Amazon. So you just measure equal amounts on this side so you can find your centre like this. And then if I've got 3 signatures, I just go sort of, you know, 1 centimetre, 1 centimetre. Because I've got 2 more on either side, I'm going to have to be a bit more inventive and sort of juggle between. So I'm going to have to go like halfway through that one there and halfway there. So try and get them sort of level and on that line. And then we have to try and remember which one we did and do it at the top as well. So pop that on halfway through there and there, halfway through there and there. And all I'm going to do is draw lines. You don't have to, but I do find it quite useful if I'm doing more than sort of 3 signatures. And I'm not seeing this, I'm covering this, so it doesn't matter. There's loads of videos out there of how to do this. So if you find my explanation confusing, please go and just Google pamphlet stitching and you'll find loads. So again, measure where the centre is. So I've got 10 there, got 10 there. So I've got like 9 3/4-ish here, and same 9, maybe a little bit more that way. I'm not that exact with my measuring. This is more measuring than I usually do. And then I usually come down a few centimetres at the top and the bottom. So I've come down to 7.5, 6.5, 6.5 there. So I'll do 6.5 here. And then come back round because I'm now balancing on my string and do some lines across. I don't measure all of them. It's a junk journal. Your signatures will be what they are. So on all the intersecting spaces, you need to make a hole. And I have this little piece of foam that I dig into. You can dig into a pile of books, newspaper, magazine, anything you've got. Go on all the crosses here. Oh, can't believe I just did that. Oh. So all you do is poke through all the intersecting lines like this and like this all the way down on all of your intersections. Okay, make sure that you can see them at the other end, because you're going to be covering this. So this is the only bit you're going to see. What we need to do now is cover this, and I'm going to use a piece of quite thick cotton. I've got a bunch of it, and I think it sort of goes with my cover. So quite happy to use this, and just going to cut. I'm hoping this is going to tear. So let's test. Let's cut a straight line. I haven't got a straight line. Will it tear? No. Right, I don't trust my cutting, and I do have a rotary cutter, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so you've got one straight edge. And my gap on my book is, maybe we'll cover up to there on the outside. On the inside, probably a bit less. So about 8 centimetres. Now, I don't know where 8 centimetres is on this. Let's have a little measure. About there-ish. So just, I measure, this is my measure, along there. And then I'm just going to cut. Oh, nearly. A little oopsie there. There we go. And we're going to have to cut another one of those, so I might as well do that while I'm at it. Okay. So what we want to do is just glue this into here, and we'll trim it off at the end. So using your Fabri-Tac, the first thing I do is glue the centre like that. Use a glue spreader to sort of move your glue so it's not going to just blob up, and pop this on. Try and get it sort of levelish. Levelish. And give it a good smooch. Okay, so the first signature we're going to put on is the front one, and I always clip mine together, even when they're little, because it does help you keep your holes in the right place. Now, a lot of people use a template when they're doing this, but you can. As I said, if this isn't your sort of way to do it, and you are looking for a particular really neat finish, then fine. But my way of doing it is just to mark it like this. We'll let that dry. I need to let that dry before I start sewing it. Poke your holes. There we go. And if you've got your page the right way up, they are going to fit in the right way up. So we'll come in, which is the front, this one, straight through. Make sure it's the right way up, and all your pages are the right way up. If you've got a way, through and up, back down. Now this one you won't be able to see where your hole is, so all I do, just for easiness, is just poke through with my little pokey tool, and then you've got your hole. She says, there it is, and go back down. Leave yourself a tail. I'm sure you've all done this. Back up that one. And it's a case of repeating this with all your signatures. Just be careful when you go back down the centre one, like this, that you don't catch your thread. So again, you can use any thread you like. I'm quite liking this at the moment because I've got a lot of it, and because my signatures, I'm going to be covering because I'm going to be actually covering these up. I don't mind what colour they are. Not really going to see this end result. So there's my signatures. I now take my big safety clips off, pick up these two ends, one either side of your centre, and pull it top to bottom like this, and tie a couple of knots like that. There we go. I could tie more. I may tie another one before we finish. And that is your first signature in. Oops, there we go. So that's in really tight, and then you just repeat for all the other signatures. So I'll come back when I've done that. Quick tip for measuring your pages is to line them up with your previous signature that you've just sewn in, like this. And you can mark where the holes go, like this. Just line them up with the last lot. And that means that your signatures are going to be exactly in the right place. Your holes are going to be completely level. As long as you remember to make sure it's the right way up. And then carry on sewing them in, and you will see that they come out exactly in the same place. I'm going to show you another little tip in a minute. Bear with me while I quickly do this one. And don't be scared about trying this. It is really easy. I've pre-poked all my holes at the bottom, so I'm ready to go back through. And don't try and go through the book and your pages at the same time. Just take it nice and easy. So I use this cotton because it is like quite easy to stitch with. I have in the past used embroidery thread and even sometimes baker's twine. And when you put the needle back through, you can catch all like this. And that means that your pages won't pull tight and you'll have wobbly pages. So my trick for that is, if you've got your needle, pull this one back through like I just did. Hang on. And thread that one through your needle as well. Like that. So you've got them both together, and then put them back through at the same time. There we go. and then you've got them both through. Nice and simple, honestly. The tricks I've learned doing this. So again, the reason that we make sure that we've got one string on either side of this center is so that when you pull, this doesn't just go straight down the middle. These will just hold quite tightly. So up and down, not that way, you'll rip your pages. Up and down. And I tend to do 1, 2, 3, and I like to do one the other way, just because. And I am cutting them off because you get too many cottons in the way. Another tip I've got for you is that if you are putting your signatures together and you have some tiny pages, don't put them in the middle like this, because they will only catch on one stitch. You'll miss the top and the bottom. So what I like to do is move mine down either to the bottom or the top, so that your papers catch in at least 2 ways. You're not going to get all 3 if you've got mini pages, but as long as they catch in 2 ways, you're going to be fine. So there you go. That's another little tip for you. Okay, so all my signatures are in, as you can see, lovely and neat, apart from where we went wrong at the start. But you're not going to see it, so there's no panic. And you can't see it on the inside either. All my signatures are beautifully lined up. All we've got to do now is cut this edge and cover the spine up. So, can be a bit tricky. I could use my roller, which would probably be the best thing to do and the safest. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, because I know not everybody's got a rotary cutter. So I'll show you it can be done with a pair of sharp scissors. And I'm leaving a little gap, as you can see, because I'm going to fray it all. I love the frayed effect. And I think this is going to fray. I'm pretty sure this frays beautifully. Look at that. How yummy is that? I like it. And I will put some glue on to stop it completely fraying. So you can do that. Once we've got the signatures in, it's time to stick down these little flaps here. Before you do this, you can decide to cover this if you wish. I'm going to leave it because it's perfectly adequate like that. And then you can just put pockets on it, or, you know, do whatever you want on there. So just glue this down. Obviously, if you're covering the back with something, then do that first. I just knocked my fan over. I have a little baby fan. And lift that up and pop that down like this. I like this because I can then put anything I like on top. I can cover that with a whole book page pocket or something. And then, because I can only do things with this hand, I'm turning my book upside down. Up to you. If you can do this left-handed, then all praise to you. I can't, I'm afraid. Okay, so more glue up here. And I'm just going to put the top on so it doesn't come oozing out. I like to use my spreader. Get back. Naughty glue. Just to make sure I get all of it. And again, lift it up and put it down like this. Just make sure you've got it all down. And that's done. All we need to do now is cover the spine with the book the right way up. And I am going to do exactly the same as I did before on the inside, paying special attention to the knots that I've got. And it also, that gives it a little extra protection in case your knots decide to come undone or anything. Not that they're going to, but you know, better to be safe than sorry. And I put glue on the holes, glue everywhere, glue it all up. There it is. Spread it about a bit, right up to the edges, all over your strings. You're never getting this book apart now. Lay this on. Just make sure you're sort of level on both sides. Ish. Yeah, this can be quite tricky, which is my front. That's my front. So back is looking okay. Front, I want to make sure the front is dead straight. There we go. Sort of there. It's my cutting. It's not the book, it's my cutting. Pull that one back a bit. There we go. And I quite like that. So I'm covering this up. I can put a lace on top of this as well. You can layer it up. I might put some lace just on the spine, or I could come right over with some. Right, before I glue that down, I'm going to do the same as I did on the inside. Probably be easier if I didn't hold it at the same time. Oops, that's a bit short. Give it a bit of a fray. Just a bit, because I think I've gone a bit short. But you know, we don't fret. We don't. Okay. And then glue that bit down. There's a lot of gluing. Get some Fab-O-Tac. It's very good for this sort of thing. Almost there. Now is not the time to be stingy. That's the word I'm looking for, with the glue, because you want this to stay stuck. So put plenty on. And just, yeah, not exactly straight, but you know, we can cover that up. And there you go. I think that just looks gorgeous, but we do need to pop some lace on it because we didn't come straight to the edge and I think it looks a bit odd. Okay, so I've had a quick mooch through my stash and I've found some trim and a bit of lace for the back. So I'm just going to very quickly pop some of this on, just to finish this off, because I don't like to leave things half done. And again with the spreading, because we don't want to see big blobs of glue. Because this lace, I don't have very much lace, as in decent size, like thicknesses. I've got lots of very thin scraps of lace. And I want to put this, I don't want it wibbly wobbly. I want to put it straight, just for a change. And obviously I'll stick that down properly, just here. Hoo-hoo. On the edge. Let's just pop that down. And then I found some trim, which I'm going to stick all the way down that bit there, just because I couldn't get it straight. If you've got that nice and straight, you don't need to do this bit. So, and pop that on there. Don't stretch it while you're doing it, just pop it on, just to finish it off. Okay, and repeat. I think that one's stuck. So we'll come the edge. Where I know the edges, like that. Okay. I was looking for some sort of blue, but I couldn't find any. So, you know, we use what we've got. And I've got some of that. So that was it. Okay, I do believe that's the front. So I think it looks pretty cool for a quick junk journal. And no, that is the front. This is the front. One of them's the front. There we go. So that's it. All your pages are in. And because we've only got 6 pieces of paper in each signature, they do lie quite flat. So, which means you can easily write in it, journal in it, and everything. If you want to see me add some pages, please let me know in the comments, because I have little tiny bits like this, and you're probably wondering, why has she done that? If you want to see how I've done that, the video will be coming up here very soon. It won't be there today, but it will be coming up soon. So there will be another video in the meantime. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's given you some sort of ideas about how to make your own junk journal from an old book. Bye. And just make your holes straight through. Don't do that, because I've just gone on the lines. Luckily, we're covering the spine. So ignore that. That's a boo-boo. We'll cut that out, and I might shove that at the end.